All right, so I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go, Linda. Good morning, Linda Schenk from Purple Giraffe. How are you, Linda?
I'm great, thanks, David. It's cool here today, but other than that, perfectly great for a Thursday.
Well, I mean, as you can see, I'm still operating out of my home office here in Melbourne because although we're out of lockdown, we're still not allowed to go in an office environment. That's okay as part of the gigs. At least we're sort of moved forward. Hey, Linda, appreciate your time. We're talking today about for small business owners around, how we can attract more leads. It's one of the biggest things that people ask us, in a business. And so I really wanted to get your expertise because obviously you do a lot of this and your marketing business is obviously helping people. So what would you be suggesting? If I'm a small business owner, what would you be saying to me that would be things that I would be thinking about doing or should be doing to get more leads for my business?
Absolutely, David. So the first thing I would suggest to anybody is know who your audience is, know who your customer is intimately. So know who they are, what they do, where they shop, how they think, the types of things that motivate them. So you know them intimately so that you don't waste a lot of time and energy getting to people that are not within your target. So that would be number one critical thing.
Yeah, that's just on that point. It's such a really important point, and I just want to just talk about that very quickly. Is a lot of people try to be all things to all people, so they say, well, everyone's my customer, or all the people that fit into this whole group are my customers, and that's one of the things I often see with small business owners, that they spend a lot of time and energy focusing in the wrong area of their business, and and they're just trying to force leads down a funnel. Without really defining who are the right people that are going to be buying their product or service. So it's a very valid point. So thank you for sharing that.
No, absolutely. And just on that, what you were saying is critically important. So in a lot of businesses, there are more than one target market, but there's always that number one client that is your absolute best. And if you had 10 of those or 50 of those or whatever the number is that you had, that's what we would call your primary target market. All the rest is secondary. And in this instance, I would say gaining more leads. You want to try and get that absolute best kind rather than a whole stack of different fish in your pond.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now, in today's market, though, people pretty much when they're looking for services or looking for products, they will do one of two things. They'll go online or they'll ask their friends, and not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to asking friends, there's not really much you can do about that other than the fact that, you've been out and about meeting people, or you've given great service to people before, or for some reason somebody knows your brand name and so they will recommend you. So the thing that most small businesses can do quickly and effectively is being more effective online.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so to do that, what we would highly recommend is optimizing your searchability. So there's so many ways that you can actually do that. And I think that would be a whole conversation in itself, and perhaps we won't talk about it right now unless you have another half an hour, which I'll rave on for. Yeah, but sure. You don't have to pay a lot of money to be really searchable online. There are some little tricks of the trade that can help you.
So just on that point, I think that's really important. I think for any of our members or any person looking at that, I mean, that obviously is something that you guys could help them with for sure. So that would be something that, at the end of this, we'll put in the contact details of Purple Giraffe and what you guys do, because those little tricks of the trade are critical to their success. And a lot of people don't know what they don't know, right? So they've heard SEO, they've heard optimization, but it's quite a detailed beast to get right. And I think understanding how to get it right is going to be really, really important. So we'll make sure that we put in those contact details at the end so people can come back to you and get some further support.
Awesome. The other thing you could do, or anyone can do, is on our website, we try to make search engine optimization really easy for people to understand, because particularly new businesses, they're not flash with cash. And so, there's some tricks that you can do, even if you're getting your web developer to make sure that they do these sorts of things. And we've written a number of blogs on our website around search engine optimization and trying to break it down into small chunks for people. So by all means, have a look at those resources.
Yeah, we might actually put some of those links on the training program as well, and if that's okay, linking it back to the blogs on your website. So then people can get some really good content there. I've seen a few of those and they're really, really good value. So that'd be great. Fantastic.
Great. So the other thing then to do when you're starting out in business and you want to actually attract more leads, it's about building connections. So it's not just about building connections in person, it's about building connections online. And I want to talk about both.
Yeah.
So for online connections, social media is super important for that. And when people are on social media, you should behave the same way you would if you were meeting a person for the first time. So if you are on social media and somebody actually comments on a post or makes a reference or sends you a message, you should have the decency to write back to them as you would if you were there in person. It becomes a relationship that way, a two-way communication. It's not just you leave someone hanging. But the most important thing is make sure that you're on the right platform, that you're going to reach the audience that you're after. So for instance, if you're a B2B type business, you can't beat LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is perfect for B2B. Whereas if you're B2C, being business to consumer, then, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, wherever your audience is where you need to be, and posting regularly, consistently, and on brand, picking content that is meaningful to your audience.
Yeah, right. I think that's a really big thing, isn't it? You see a lot of content get posted that is really maybe someone grandstanding about something or sharing something that really is not specifically related to the audience they're going after. And so that in some ways is a bit of a disservice to them because it's not really on brand, as you were saying, and it's not really assisting them in the area they need that support. So it's a really good point. It's really valid. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things we do to help with that is we come up with 4 or 5 content pillars. So what are the things as a business that you want to be known for? And it could be education, it could be fun, it could be advice, it could be memes, it could be, you know, all sorts of different things that is important to your business. But of course, it needs to be content that your audience wants to get engaged with. And be consistent. So don't post once and then, you know, leave it for 3 months because you get busy. People are distrusting of that. So it's about building a proper relationship, just like you would a friend when you meet for the first time and someone you want to catch up with, you know, for a regular coffee.
Fantastic. Is there a frequency that you would recommend then for the sort of posting?
It really depends on your brand and the types of things that you want to communicate with people. So for instance, if you've got a product and it's let's say it's a high profile product or something that people visually want to see regularly, then I would post at least once a day.
Wow.
However, if you're offering a service and it might be, I don't know, industrial cleaning, you know, you might only just do 1 a week, just so that it's consistently showing something on your site. So it really depends on the brand and the audience that you have.
Yeah, fantastic. That's really good advice. I think that what I've seen is people come and go. So they'll do it and then they forget about it and they do it again, and it's really hit and miss type thing. Would it be fair to say that a lot of places don't seem to have a strategy around utilising it properly?
Oh, totally. From my experience, there's really not many strategies around for social media, and it's just such a shame because it's a really important component of your marketing mix these days. So I think there's a number, and it's around about 60% of people now will go to your website, but then they'll go to your social pages to check your validity. So to check to make sure that, you know, you're a valid business, that you're, you know, regularly engaged on social media, to make sure that you are, I guess, the type of fit for them as well. So your social media has become so important to businesses that, you know, if you're not there, you're just not there. You're not a business, basically.
Yeah, exactly right. Someone told me, and I don't know if it's true, you probably know the answer to this, but there's something like 3,500 messages every day going out to people on these sort of, not just on social media, but a whole range of platforms, which kind of then leads to the point for a small business owner, they need to get cut through, right? They need to get something that someone is going to want and be attracted to. And I think that requires a lot of skill.
Absolutely. But it also requires thinking about what you're doing, not just posting for posting's sake. So we went about frequency before. It's better to have less frequency on organic posts because people aren't going to see them if it's just nonsense post, because it, you know, won't get into people's feeds because no one's interacting with it. So you're much better to post less regularly, but post well. So do something really creative or do something interesting to your audience.
Yeah, and I think that links back into your very first point, right? Understanding who your audience is. What are the things that they're worried about, keeping them up at night time? What are the things that they're interested in talking to you about? But more importantly, what does your product or service do for them as an audience that is going to really resonate with them? And I think we try to fit everybody into the same category, and you can't do that. And the more, as you said, get intimate with your audience, I think was the first thing you said. And once you know what it is, and you're genuinely, authentically offering something that's going to help them and support them, then you get noticed, and that's how you get the cut through that you're looking for. Yeah.
Absolutely, hit the nail on the head. But it's all about building relationships, particularly when you first start business. So there is nothing wrong with, and I encourage it tremendously when you're first starting, that you pound the pavement, which means that you get involved in networking activities face-to-face, if you can, of course, COVID restrictions
Exactly.
Dependent.
Yeah.
And, you seek out things like speaking engagements or webinars, or pitch yourself as an expert on social media content, or write blogs or things, anything where you can see yourself being pitched as an expert, but also you're engaging with other people, and that might be face-to-face or online. I feel like when you're first starting out in business, or even actually, do you know what? I'm 7 years in and I still do this. I go to a lot of networking events.
Yeah.
Because Australia is not about what you know, it's often about who you know.
Exactly right.
That's where you'll then get, when people ask their friends, you'll get recommended by those people because you've been out meeting other people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was talking to a group yesterday who actually approached us through a partnership with us. And, we're talking about collaboration as being, it's not a new buzzword, right? But it's about how do you link opportunities with organizations together? I mean, and they were saying pretty much the same thing. And this group is a highly well-known group that has a very good product offering. But they were saying that what they're finding is getting the message through in the platforms is getting much more difficult. But the old school stuff of reaching out to like businesses, working through what they have, what they can do to support, and doing it in a genuine, authentic way is the way they're planning on moving their business forward, and which made a lot of sense to me.
Absolutely. But when you do that, and particularly when you're starting out, it's really important that you have your messaging right, that you're not going in to sell, you're going in to genuinely build relationships with people, with the desire to want to help. So, and I often say to a lot of our clients, do you genuinely believe in the product that you sell or the service that you offer? And they go, yes, 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 I do. And I go, well, then you're not selling to them, you're helping them. Exactly. So your aim, I believe, should always be to help more people.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think that's really, in a nutshell, is critical to, you can tell when someone's trying to sell you something, and that becomes pretty obvious. But when you have a genuine intent to try and help someone, selling is not the process, right? It's more about saying to someone, look, I'm here to help you, and this is what I can do to help you. But if you can get that help somewhere else, or from a better supplier or product or service that you think is more aligned to what you're doing, that's okay, right? That's no problem with that. And people pick up on that genuineness of what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to do. So it's really, really important. Hey, Linda, thanks very much for your time today. It's really been fantastic. We look forward to talking to you more in the future. I mean, we've asked you, obviously, to help us with some of the webinars we'll be doing later on, so that would be really good. I'm sure people would love your expertise and what you can offer as well. So I really appreciate you spending time and doing it with us today. And, I'm hopeful that our members will really love the content we're providing to them, because we're really trying to help them as well, right? So hopefully that'll all sort of resonate well with them as well. So thanks for your time. Enjoy sunny Adelaide, and I look forward to having a chat to you soon.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Linda. Thank you. Good job. Well done. A lot of good content there, Linda. It's fantastic.
Do you want to stop the recording, or you're okay?
Oh, yeah, it's all right. Well, we're going to do the filtering of it anyway. So.